Cancer loves acid. So what has an acid effect?
In our previous video, internationally renowned health teacher Barbara O'Neill shared 7 alkaline-forming foods that we should primarily consume to help keep cancer at bay. In this video, we'll learn from Barbara about 8 acid-forming foods we should try to avoid to create a healthy environment for our body, naturally protecting against cancer and other diseases. Stay tuned to learn which foods you should avoid to protect your health before we dive in. It's important to understand that diet plays a crucial role in our health. Some foods can promote health, while others can contribute to disease. Barbara O'Neill, a naturopath and nutritionist, has shared invaluable insights on this topic. Let's uncover the 8 foods that you should steer clear of to keep those cancer cells at bay. Let's delve into the importance of our body's pH balance. Our body, especially our blood, needs to maintain a slightly alkaline pH level, ideally between 7.35 and 7.45. This balance is key for optimal immune function and protection against diseases, including cancer.
At one end, we have acid, and up the other end of the acid-alkaline scale, we have alkaline. And in the middle, we've got neutral. Neutral is neither acid nor alkaline. So the acid scale, it's 0, alkaline, it's 14, and in the middle, 7 is neutral. Blood has a reading on the pH scale, and blood's reading on the pH scale is between 7.35 and 7.4. It will always be within that range. The pH of the human body is important because at different pHs, diseases grow, and at different pHs, it's very hard for disease to grow. But in a cellular pH of 5.5, this is where disease thrives, especially yeasts, funguses, and cancer. Cancer loves acid. Cancer also loves no oxygen. The other thing cancer loves is sugar. So these are the 3 common denominators I find. And so when people come to us wanting help to conquer cancer, you see what we do? We suggest a diet that's highly alkalizing. We suggest ways to oxygenate the body. And we also greatly eliminate the glucose, the sugars going into the body.
Since we've already covered the 7 alkaline foods we should include in our diet, let's now dive into the 8 acid-forming foods we should avoid.
Let's have a look at acid-forming foods now. These acid-forming foods are high in the acid-forming minerals, which is phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine.
First food is meat.
So what foods are high in phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine? Meat. This explains why Dr. Colin Campbell found he could turn cancer cells on and off like a switch by the amount of meat and dairy products he was giving the rats.
Red meat and processed meats. These are some of the most common acidic foods in Western diets. Examples include: number 1, red meat, beef, lamb, pork. Red meat, particularly when consumed in large quantities, has been linked to an increased risk of certain cancers, including colorectal cancer. Second, unprocessed meats, such as sausages, bacon, ham, and corned beef are also on the list. These foods contain nitrates and nitrites, which can form carcinogenic compounds in the body. These foods are high in protein and phosphorus, which can increase the amount of acid in your diet. Second food is well known for us: refined sugar.
Refined sugar? It's very acid-forming.
While sugar itself is pH neutral at around 7, it's considered an acid-forming food because of how it affects the body's pH balance during metabolism. When you consume sugar, it's primarily metabolized by the liver, producing byproducts like lactic acid and acetic acid, which increase the body's acid load. How sugar affects the body's pH balance. Sugar metabolism: when you eat sugar, your liver breaks it down. This process creates byproducts like lactic acid and acetic acid, which increase the acid levels in your body. Depletion of alkaline minerals: breaking down sugar uses up important alkaline minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. These minerals help neutralize acids in your body. Eating a lot of sugar can also cause your body to release more insulin, which makes you lose these minerals through urine, adding to the acidity. Impact on gut microbiome: sugar changes the balance of bacteria in your gut, encouraging the growth of acid-producing bacteria. This adds to the overall acid load in your body, Inflammation. Eating sugar can cause inflammation, which produces acidic byproducts and makes your body even more acidic. Third one is the hybridized wheat.
The hybridization of the wheat created a lot more of the acid-forming minerals.
Hybridized wheat. This type of wheat is made by crossbreeding different strains to get plants with desirable traits, like higher yields, better disease resistance, or the ability to adapt to different climates. Unlike GMOs, hybridization doesn't involve mixing DNA from different species. Why hybridized wheat is acidic. Metabolic byproducts. When your body breaks down hybridized wheat, it produces acidic byproducts like lactic acid and acetic acid, which increase the body's acid levels. Mineral depletion. The process of metabolizing hybridized wheat uses up important alkaline minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. These minerals are essential for neutralizing acids in the body. Inflammation. Eating hybridized wheat can cause inflammation, which produces more acidic byproducts and makes the body's overall environment more acidic. Examples of hybridized wheat: spelt, kamut, red fife, white sonora. These are all examples of hybridized wheat varieties that are commonly found in our diets. Since wheat is such a big part of our diet, let's dive into the real issue. What's the difference between hybridized wheat and regular wheat?
Spelt and kamut are wild hybrids of the original wheat. So let me give you the wheat story. The original wheat that God made is called enkenhorn, or some call it just enkhorn. And that original wheat had a very fragile protein or gluten structure. It is not sure when, but they estimate a couple of thousand years ago, enkenhorn did a wild hybrid with a field grass and came up with the Emma strain of wheat. Its structure, its protein or gluten structure is not as fragile, but it's still fairly fragile. And in the 1950s, it was the Emma strain of wheat that was put through intensive crossbreeding, and it came up with the hybridized wheat that we know today. That hybridization of the wheat created an incredibly complex gluten or protein structure. Today, we're looking at how the hybridization process changed the gluten or the protein structure, and it's almost only a cast iron gut that can break down that very complex protein or gluten structure. That explains why so many people are gluten intolerant today. You look at the timeline. So it was the 1950s that the wheat was hybridized. It was the 1970s that it went worldwide. So by the 1990s, every pasta, every pizza, every biscuit, cake, cookie, donut, cereal, bread, it's all made out of the hybridized wheat. You see, the farmers love it, and I don't blame them for loving it because they get 6 times more grain per acre. Who wouldn't like that? It was zoomed through to help with the starvation crisis in the world, and safety studies were never done.
Fourth one is aged cheese.
Aged cheese? What's the blue in the blue vein cheese? The blue in the blue vein cheese is mold. So the only cheeses that don't sit under that category, the cheeses that have probably a pH of 7 would be your fresh. So that's your cottage, your ricotta. I'm not saying that they are okay, because usually they come from cows who have not been fed right or have chemicals in them. But on the pH scale, they're not as acid.
Certain studies suggest a potential link between high dairy consumption and an increased risk of prostate and ovarian cancer. Dairy products are generally considered acid-forming foods. This idea is based on the concept of potential renal acid load PRAL, which measures how food affects the body's acid or alkaline balance after digestion and metabolism. Foods high in protein and phosphorus, like dairy products, tend to be acid-forming. When these foods are broken down, they produce acidic compounds that the body needs to neutralize or excrete, putting a higher acid load on the kidneys. Here are a few examples of how common dairy products are classified in terms of their acid-forming potential: milk, slightly acid-forming; cheese, moderately to strongly acid-forming; depending on the type, yogurt, slightly acid-forming. It's important to remember that whether a food is acid-forming or alkaline-forming doesn't necessarily indicate its health benefits or drawbacks. A balanced diet that includes both acid-forming and alkaline-forming foods is generally recommended for overall health. Fifth food on the list is caffeine.
Caffeine, all your caffeine foods and drinks have an acid effect. And of course, caffeine usually comes hand in hand with the sugar, which certainly ups it. And remember our 2.6 Coca-Cola, that's a combination of the caffeine and the sugar. 2.6. This is where Coca-Cola sits. It's a killer. It's toxic.
Eating a lot of acidic foods like animal protein, caffeine, and processed foods can put a strain on your body's systems that work to keep your pH levels balanced. This extra effort can deplete your body of important alkaline minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. When these minerals are used up, it can make you more prone to chronic and degenerative diseases. So, it's important to consume these foods in moderation. Another one is alcohol.
Alcohol is not a food, but it creates an acid environment in the body. Tobacco is not a food, but it also creates an acid environment in the body. Alcohol breaks down in the body to acetaldehyde, and acetaldehyde is a neurotoxin. We don't want a neurotoxin. A neurotoxin is a brain killer.
Alcohol can significantly impact the body's pH level, primarily making it more acidic. When you drink alcohol, your liver metabolizes it into acetaldehyde and then into acetic acid, which lowers the body's pH. Alcohol itself is slightly acidic, but beverages like wine and beer are more so, with pH levels around 3 to 4. Excessive alcohol consumption can lead to acidosis, a condition where the blood becomes too acidic, causing symptoms like rapid breathing, confusion, and fatigue. This occurs because the body's buffering systems are overwhelmed, and the kidneys respond by excreting more acids in the urine, further contributing to acidity. Alcohol is also a diuretic, leading to dehydration. Dehydration concentrates the acids in your body and disrupts electrolyte balance, further lowering the pH. The chemical structure of alcohol allows it to release hydrogen ions, adding to its acidic nature. Additionally, the fermentation process used to make alcoholic beverages produces organic acids, and some drinks contain added acids, both of which increase their overall acidity. And to maintain a healthy pH balance, it's crucial to drink alcohol in moderation and stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water. Seventh one on the list is grains.
All your other grains, other than the grains that sit on the alkaline side.
Many common grains like wheat, rice, both white and brown, barley, oats, corn, and rye are acidic and can lower the body's pH level. When these grains are digested, they produce acidic byproducts like sulfuric and phosphoric acids. This can lead to an overall acidic environment in the body. An acidic internal environment can cause health issues such as inflammation, weakened immune function, and decreased bone density. Chronic acidosis, where the body becomes too acidic, can lead to fatigue, headaches, and more serious conditions like kidney stones and osteoporosis. Grains are acidic due to their nutrient composition, especially amino acids and phosphorus. Refined grains are more acidic than whole grains because refining removes alkaline components. Additionally, grains ferment in the gut, producing more acidic compounds. To maintain a balanced pH, it's essential to eat plenty of alkaline foods like fruits and vegetables along with grains. Last one on the list are legumes and nuts.
All your other legumes, other than the lima, lentil, and soy, and all your other nuts, other than the almond and Brazil, have an acid effect.
Should you eliminate all acid-forming foods from your diet? The good news is, you don't have to avoid them completely.
Maintain the 6.5 environment. We need to be consuming 20% acid-forming foods and 70 to 80% alkaline-forming foods. And I'm sure you're not surprised to hear me say that the 20% should come from this section here. Yes, oatmeal is here. Yes, rice is here. They're not bad grains. We need a little acid. Yes, your chickpeas are here, and your garbanzos, your chickpeas, your black-eyed beans, your kidney beans. They're not bad. Of course they're not bad. We need a little acid.
There you have it, the 8 worst foods that feed cancer cells according to Barbara O'Neill. Making conscious choices about what you eat can significantly impact your health and reduce your risk of cancer. Remember, a diet rich in whole, unprocessed foods is your best defense. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more health tips and insights. Stay healthy, and see you next time.